So, yeah, you want to get started and start this plane crash?
Yeah. Yeah,
Tactile fever, bites and rails, Bryce and Jake, no clearing trails. That's how you get around, chatting all day. Whoa, binary dance, they're here to stay. Whoa,
but
uh,
oh
we should
man.
probably do some intros. So, I'll go first. Uh, it's hard to not make it sound like in a professional Zoom. That's difficult to be like thumbnail
Well,
sketch on me. All right.
I could have like a little South Park character on my side if you want instead. Maybe there's like a South Park overlay we can do where it's like
This tang
translate this using AI into South Park characters in real time.
this isn't great when the tangent started when I said my name. All
Uh,
right. Um, my name is Jake Growth, not Groth, which is common misconception. I actually don't need glasses, but I'm wearing Meta Rays today, partially because we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence, and mainly because I failed to buy a microphone in time that sounds at all good for this kind of podcast. Um, so I thought about all the different ways I could describe who I am, and I think the easiest way to distill who I am is the essence of me. I bought an Apple Vision Pro and a Cybertruck. And yes, I use them at the same time sometimes. So I think and often wearing Viper glasses. I really lean into it, if that makes sense.
and I'm sure the community around you is very supportive of you wearing an Apple Vision Pro while driving a Cybertruck. That
And
feels like
Bryce and I have
something.
done Bryce and I have done business together, and so that's why we can afford. Bryce and I have been successful in business, and that's why we can afford to have such fun toys to talk about as well. So anyway, my background is cybersecurity. We run multiple companies, sold multiple companies. I consider myself more of a futurist slash cyber person. I find really abstract topics interesting. So Bryce decided to nudge us along to put some of this stuff down to paper, or whatever the version of that is for this on tape.
Ink to paper, pen to paper.
Ones
Yeah,
ones and zeros disc.
yeah. There you go. There you go. Well, yeah. I'm Bryce. Jake and I have worked together for years, as well as just hung out. And then uh, yeah, we both have a background in cybersecurity and kind of IT in general, and been fairly successful in the past with various companies, and yeah, we've had quite a few, you know, um, yeah, good times throughout all the different entities.
I know it doesn't sound like it. Bryce at a disadvantage that he lives in Utah and I'm in DC, and so I'm on the East Coast time, which is 10:04 a.m., which is about when I come out of my cave. And Bryce is chilling at the Math is Hard 8 a.m. So we used to go to
Yeah,
college together as well, and the 8 a.m. classes, we would wake up at 7:50 and not speak to each other until after the first class was up, was finished.
yeah, those silent walks, silent drives to the campus, man, to get to the early morning classes. Why was that the only time available? It feels like they just like intentionally did that to be cruel to us.
Well,
I
it's
feel
because
like.
we're in summer school, which is a whole nother. We failed to properly plan our curriculum, and so we had to take a bunch of summer classes for accounting, and we got an accounting minor simply because it was the only way we could graduate on time. But it actually ended up being useful for us later.
Yeah, I didn't even know you needed a minor until we got to like what was that, halfway through junior year,
Yeah,
and the counselor pulled me aside.
he's like, "You guys aren't going to graduate." I'm like, "What's a minor?"
I think it
uh,
might have to do something with the fact that like we never talked anything serious with him. So I feel like yeah.
he bought one of our
Uh,
illegal Xboxes, though. Remember that?
yeah. Well, I think everyone enjoyed that. I think
Bryce
his
and
whole
I
family enjoyed that.
Bryce, he did. He would compliment us regularly in class. Actually, he even referred us to a few people. He was good for business.
Good
Um,
for business.
in college, Bryce and I had Xbox modding business called BJ Connections, and we would sell these Xboxes door to door, and even our college professors started buying them. Our business kind of crashed and burned when it became very successful, and we had cash. It was all cash business, and so it looked like we were running some kind of illegal drug business. And anyway, they started
Yeah.
spreading. It had my phone number, right? And do you remember what happened as it started spreading? The reasons why we had to get out?
I just remember there's like some shady people like wanted their Xbox
It's
modders.
the
Like
Halo 2.
people that just like really you could tell they weren't gonna play video games.
Yeah, yeah. And we had a novel method where I'm pretty good at soldering, and we were able to. At that time, everyone was doing mod chips, and we wanted to eat into the margin, so or get more margin. And so Bryce ingeniously figured out a way where we could use the James Bond game and buffer overflow using a saved game that would get us in a position to write to the BIOS as long as the soldering was done correctly. And therefore, we were able to load our own operating system, and then the piracy began.
Yeah, yeah.
The NSA did not like
There's
that in
a
our
lot more
polygraph.
you could do. There's a lot more you could do, man, with
I know.
Xboxes.
Let's just
They were
leave. Let's
way
just leave it at
better.
piracy.
It was way better. It was way better,
All right,
man.
sorry I cut you off, which I'm gonna do a lot.
No, you're good. Yeah, yeah. So if you're wondering why I'm, don't sound like normal Bryce, it's because it's too friggin' early. I don't wake up till noon.
But as soon
Um,
as those ideas pop, it'll be like like you'll hit power bands in and out.
yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so yeah, I'm sure you'll hear more about our backgrounds as we go through the podcast and all that. Yeah, yeah. So
These make me look
uh,
super stupid.
I like them, man. I like them. See,
I mean, I'm gonna
it's
keep wearing them
starting
because
to
that's who
look
I am.
mature. I hope they come out with different styles. That's like
Yeah,
my one thing
it's
I
a
hope they
little
come out with
thick.
this year.
It's a little thick right there.
Like, could you imagine if they had like in the style of spy glasses or something that's actually
Well,
cool?
actually, that's on the topic today too, is because they're talking about how the future is not Vision Pro stuff. It's actually it's not spatial. They called it like observational environmental computing or something, where ambient computing, where it would
That's a
just
good
like
term.
bring up like text or something like informative stuff, but like be a little bit more lightweight and more surroundings based rather than,
Have you seen those ones
notification based.
that look like Harry Potter glasses that do it right now? They're made by some Chinese company. They're cool, man. Like you can, and it's like an open spec. You can program against them, but they have both the like vision mic and they have like a little text thing right there. And I think the biggest downfall is like one, they look like Harry Potter glasses, so they look freaking ridiculous. Like no one's gonna wear that. And then two, um, there's not really any apps or software, right? So like it's just almost like a platform that
I wonder if
seems
like when Neuralink and all this stuff comes into play, if that'll be an attack vector. Like if there's gonna be any physical attack vectors, Ghost in the Shell style. Be interesting. Um,
yeah. I mean, I definitely think that's gonna happen. I mean, you put a chip in someone's brain, like you think people aren't gonna hack that? You're crazy, dude.
that's also probably important to note is our backgrounds. We were recruited from the NSA and DHS through a scholarship for service program. Shout out to Cybercore. We got an MBA and that got us to the government. I worked for Homeland Security before we did the company thing, and so did Bryce. Bryce ditched us at Homeland and went to the NSA, and he had a successful career there. And I went more in the security architect engineering route. I've been a CTO for most of my career. So I'm more on the defensive side. Bryce is more on the offensive side. However, when we were growing up, which I'm sure is going to be a topic all by itself, when we were growing up, you didn't have specializations, which I actually think is kind of a disservice because I get people who have like biological forensics mixed with blah, 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 and they don't even know like how networking works. So I actually think specialization, should happen more when you get into your career and get a foundational knowledge. Um, but anyway, the reason why this is how you get rants is because of stuff like this.
I mean, there wasn't really, to be fair, there wasn't really an industry back then. Like, I never really thought we were gonna get a career in this,
I thought
right?
I'd be a
Until we
lawyer.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those days. Lawyer Jake,
Yeah.
attorney Jake.
I was like, I
That's
guess I'm going to do
law.
IP law because there's no business, ironically at the time, I
You
thought
were
that there
like,
was
"There's no
no.
money in the cybers." You're like,
Do you remember, as an
"How
aside,
wrong are with you?"
this also, we should just give random vignettes to kind of show some of the. We've been friends for what has it been like 21 years, I think, something like
Yeah,
that.
I don't want to calculate.
We were
A long
randomly
time.
assigned roommates when we were in college. The first time I remember hearing Bryce before I saw Bryce. I was down the hall and I heard this laugh that was so loud that I was like, it sounded like a sonic boom. And I walked outside, and at that time, it was like the cool AFI emo stage. This is like 2001. Bryce had dyed his hair jet black, and he had jet black eyebrows. He looked like Ernie. And I had platinum blonde M&M hair. So that also wasn't a great look for somebody who looks like a vampire. So
I didn't realize the contrast until now with the black and then the white.
it was not great. It was not great.
Like that was quite the duo right there. I just remember the when I came around the corner to go to the bathroom and to go pee, and then you were there doing lunges.
I
It's
and
like that's
manscaping. Let's be
definitely
honest. Let's just say it out there. I was manscaping, doing lunges in a public area, but
yeah
that
yeah
that kind of set the tone. You got to set the tone.
yeah. I don't know. It said A tone. I don't know if there's no tone. Definitely said A tone.
Hey, I moved the
Oh
shaver to
man.
the left hand and shook your hand. All right, it's not a big deal. Don't be weird.
Yeah, I did not touch his hand, by the way. He did stretch out his hand to shake my hand, and I did not touch that. Pretty sure there
Uh,
was
hey,
additional hairs on that.
the best time to do lunges is right after the showers. That way you don't get stretch. You don't get sweaty in your clothes or anything. Anyway, so this is already going off of. We might have to do the main reason I've never done a podcast at all, or I hate being recorded. In fact, it's very difficult to find a recording of me, is because I have a little bit of Tourette's, not really, but kind of, in that I'll say stuff that I'm like, probably should have pulled that back in. So we're gonna really try to be committed to the no editing format here, but we might have to do a beep a couple of times if it's something that is sensitive to somebody that we shouldn't have said it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We'll figure that out in post. That's all.
yeah.
That's all in post
Well, I'm just
probably. But
telling the audience what they can expect
I keep
from
telling
our.
Jake I'm gonna do a lot of stuff in post, but I think we both know I'm just gonna click the publish button.
Exactly. This is going to be, he's going to sit there and he's going to have low dopamine because all of that has been rushed out during the day. And he's going to look at that button and he's going to impulsively say, you know,
Ah,
there's a certain charm in it being raw.
I could get it done right now if I just click this button. I was like, it looks like a good option to me.
Yeah, editing is not reviewing documents I write. I just try to write gold right out the gate because otherwise I'll just never review it. In fact,
I used to love video editing in high school, man. Like I was all about that. It was fun. So, but you need a lot of time. That's the thing. So,
editing documents is the worst. Like I had I'm
ChatGPT does that now, man. You don't have to do
dude.
that anymore. Just upload to ChatGPT.
Yeah, but then you have to like make sure they don't like think it's ChatGPT. So you have to put in like actually like words that it wouldn't use slash, you know.
Dude, why does ChatGPT always put semicolons everywhere? Like every
It's
freaking
comma
place.
happy.
It puts a semicolon. No one uses semicolons, man. Stop. And even when you put in the custom prompt, like don't use a semicolon ever, it still does not listen to you. It does whatever it wants.
I
It's
know
just